Hello there, thank you so very much for joining me again on the Women's Health Hub. This is your place for all things to do with mind, body and soul. As always, I love connecting with you all, and if you have any comments, please put them in the comments section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe as it keeps this channel going. So in today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about all things around our womb, the physical womb, our womb centre and our spirit womb. And at the end of today's podcast, I'll be touching on the 13th womb rite of the monarchy, as this will be the subject of the next episode. So make sure you stay tuned and listen up until the end. What is the womb? The womb is a female organ that carries a huge significance in our survival. The womb, also known as the uterus, is the hollow organ that is shaped in the form of a pear, and interestingly enough measures about the same size. It's neatly tucked into a woman's pelvic area and is responsible for holding and nurturing a developing baby, and also for cleaning itself each month. And I do apologise if you can hear any noise in the background. There's some building work going on at the end of the street, so I do hope it doesn't bother you too much. I feel it's important first to discuss the anatomy of the womb and the associated female reproductive organs, so that as listeners you will know what goes where and what it all does. It doesn't seem so long ago when I really didn't know too much about this space myself, and I was very much in the dark about this incredible life-giving organ. So today I hope to give you a good insight into the fascinating world of the womb. Within the female pelvis, I want you to imagine the womb as a hollow pear sitting fairly central inside. The pear bends forward over the bladder, with the lower part of the cervix and the vagina located directly in between the bladder and the bowel. At the widest part of the womb, the two fallopian tubes connect into it. This area is called the fundus. The lower part of the womb, the narrow part of the pear, has an opening called the cervix. This opens into the vagina. As these three organs sit in unison, they are known in many cultures as the three sisters, which I love. These three organs should all be happily cohabiting this space, but some changes can impact this harmony, which I will discuss later. Referring back to the fundus, this is the widest portion of the womb and the region that will hold and nurture a fertilised embryo as it grows into a baby. Just below the fundus is a muscular area called the corpus. This is composed of 3 tissue layers, with females who have reached puberty having an innermost endometrium. This is the layer of muscle that is shed when the menstrual cycle commences in non-pregnant women. This tissue will thicken as the month cycle goes by in preparation for a fertilised egg to implant itself there. In the absence of a fertilised egg, this layer will simply shed away in what we know as the menstruation or our period. The middle muscle layer is called the myometrium, and this is the layer that will expand during pregnancy and contract during childbirth. Incredibly, the womb can stretch up to the size of a watermelon during pregnancy and shrinks back to that of a pear in around 6 weeks post-birth. The outermost layer is called the parametrium and also expands and contracts at these stages. Expanding allows the womb to hold the growing baby, while the contractions will facilitate the newborn's exit from the womb. So what is the function of the womb? The womb has many functions. The womb cleans herself once a month, but one function, which is the most known, is being able to preserve life during its creation. The womb is the site of nourishment for the baby, making it one of the most important reproductive organs in the female body. It all begins when an egg is fertilised by sperm and makes its way down the fallopian tubes to find a place to develop into an embryo, as the tight fallopian tubes will not provide enough space for this to occur. The womb's thick muscular walls will allow it to contract and expand to make room for the developing baby. There are many blood vessels supplying the muscle layers at any given time, making this organ blood-rich. This especially applies to the endometrium, which is a highly vascular area, so that it can nourish the developing embryo. Changes in conditions which can affect the womb are many, and can impact the womb and the other sisters in the pelvis. I'm going to talk about some of these below. Pregnancy. As pregnancy progresses, the pelvic area plays a vital role in accommodating the growing fetus. The pelvic bones are designed to be flexible, allowing for expansion during childbirth. The release of the hormone relaxin further loosens the ligaments around the pelvis, preparing it for the delivery process. This expansion not only creates space for the baby, but also affects the positioning of the surrounding organs. Changes in the position of the womb. The womb, initially located low in the pelvis, experiences significant changes during pregnancy. As the baby grows, the uterus gradually rises and expands, stretching upwards. This upward movement of the womb affects the position of nearby organs such as the bladder and intestines. It can lead to increased pressure on these organs and potentially cause discomfort or changes in bodily functions. The digestive system. The expanding uterus can exert pressure on the stomach and intestines, further affecting their function and contributing to digestive discomfort. Respiration. The respiration system also undergoes adjustments to accommodate the needs of the growing baby, requiring the respiratory system to work harder to meet oxygen demands. After birth, the body takes around 6 weeks to reverse these changes, which shows how amazing the womb is and how amazing women are as we go through all of these physical changes along with hormonal changes whilst caring for a newborn baby. Usually not having time to nourish ourselves and with very little sleep. We really are incredible beings, and this is why I love working with women. In addition to pregnancy's impact on the womb, bladder and bowel, there are certain conditions of the womb which can also impact the sisters. Endometriosis. Endometriosis is a disease in which tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside the uterus. It can cause severe pain in the pelvis and makes it harder to get pregnant. It can start at a person's first menstrual period and last until menopause. When the tissue grows outside the uterus, it can lead to inflammation and scar tissue forming in the pelvic region, and in severe cases can cause adhesions onto the bowel or bladder. Endometriosis often causes severe pain in the pelvis, especially during menstrual periods. Some women also have pain during intercourse or when using the bathroom, and while other women struggle to fall pregnant. Dysmenorrhea is menstrual pain which can occur before and or during your period. During the menstrual period, a chemical called prostaglandins, I can never pronounce this, makes the uterus contract to expel its lining. Higher levels of this chemical make the uterus contract more strongly and can press against the nearby blood vessels, which cut off the oxygen supply to the tissue, resulting in pain and cramping. When I work with women who struggle with painful cramping, I always advise that they eliminate dairy or at least change it to organic only. Because this hormone, which I refer to as PGF2, is often found in cattle, and we are the food chain. Heavy menstrual bleeding. Heavy menstrual bleeding is excessive menstrual bleeding that can also refer to bleeding that lasts too long. It can occur without any known cause, or it can be a symptom of other things, such as a hormone imbalance, for example fibroids, polyps, birth control pills, cancer, or other health conditions. Uterine prolapse. A uterine prolapse means the muscles and the ligaments that hold the uterus in place have weakened. The uterus drops. Many people have mild to moderate uterine prolapse when they get older. The anatomy of the womb can be different in some women. So changes in the structure can include one side is shorter than the other, a double womb, a heart-shaped womb. These are just some of the anatomical differences in some women. Pelvic inflammatory disease. Sometimes bacteria or microbes enter the cervix and spread upwards. The infection can affect one or more of the pelvic organs, including the uterus, the cervix, and the fallopian tubes. This is called pelvic inflammatory disease, or PID. Fibroids. Fibroids are growths in the walls or lining of the uterus. Sometimes they attach to the outside of the uterus by a stalk. They can be as small as a seed or larger than an orange. Cancer. Uterine cancer causes abnormal vaginal bleeding. The most common type is endometrial cancer. Chronic pelvic pain. If your healthcare provider can't identify the cause of your pain, you may be diagnosed with chronic pelvic pain. This can be caused by pelvic floor dysfunction, which can also be seen in conjunction with uterine problems. It's so important that you seek medical attention if you have any unusual pain or bleeding in your reproductive organs so that you receive the correct care. A tilted womb. Some women are born with a tilted uterus. Sometimes pregnancy stretches the ligaments that supports the uterus, allowing it to shift positions in the body. Certain health conditions can also lead to the formation of scar tissue that pulls on the uterus, changing its orientation. Now, I do a wonderful massage at my practice. We use our hands and we do certain traditional ancient techniques, and I can feel where the womb sits. We can do all this lovely massage work to try and bring it back into alignment. It's based on a therapy called mesotherapy. It's really lovely. I do quite a lot of it actually in my practice. Endometriosis, fibroids and pelvic inflammatory disease can all cause scarring that changes how the uterus is shaped and where it is situated. For many women, having a tilted or a retroverted uterus doesn't cause any symptoms at all. But for others, the angle of the uterus can cause painful periods, painful intercourse, bladder incontinence, problems inserting tampons. In addition to the physical womb, women also have a spirit womb. Women who may no longer have a physical womb will always have their spirit womb. So it's important to nourish this womb centre, regardless of if you have a physical womb or not. So what is the spirit womb? As we have discussed, the womb is the source of all creation. It is also the creator and giver of all life. But it is also the creator of abundance, the sacred space and the symbol of the Great Mother, Mother Earth Gaia. It is what makes women divinely feminine. It's all that exists is birthed through the womb, and it is therefore a very powerful place. There are two important energy vortexes which run through our womb space. The sacral or hara chakra is located just underneath the belly button and represents our emotions, our pleasure, joy, sexuality, creativity, our essence. The root chakra is located deep in the pelvis at the base of the spine. It is our place of grounding, of stability. It's how we see the world, the foundation for life, and is our connection to our ancestors. Our feminine energy has been unbalanced for thousands of years due to an overly male patriarchy, not only in society but also in religion and spirituality. This has thrown many things out of balance, and some women have become disconnected with their wombs. Periods are still taboo in many cultures. The menopause is still very much lacking in understanding. Women still receive little or no postpartum care. We feel guilty for being off work with our babies. We feel guilty for working when we have babies. Some cultures view women as below men in status, and these often unspoken rules play havoc with our spirit womb. Women who have been sexually abused are more likely to have problems with their reproductive organs over women who haven't. The womb is so much more than for growing a baby. In ancient times and in some indigenous cultures today, women's spiritual practices were considered deeply sacred. The womb is also considered as a sacred spiritual centre, a source of intuition and emotional well-being. There are a great many ways to reconnect with the spirit womb. Some ways to do this are chakra balancing, healing therapies, meditation, mantras, prayers, and other techniques, including womb healing therapies. As a therapist and womb keeper, I have trained in many therapies and would like to discuss the therapies I use in my practice to help heal the physical and spirit womb. Womb and abdominal massage. Earlier this year I trained in a beautiful hands-on therapy which is used within many cultures as part of women's womb health. Womb and abdominal massage has many benefits, including postpartum care. Postpartum care being the care of the new mum following a baby, as opposed to postnatal, which is care of the new baby. Painful or missed periods, perimenopause and menopause, fertility changes, endometriosis, PCOS, digestive issues, womb space healing, and post-surgery or miscarriage. Womb space healing, for example, post-surgery, maybe a lady's had a hysterectomy or a miscarriage. Closing the bones and rocking. Given the huge amount of change a woman's body goes through during pregnancy and birth, it's perhaps not surprising that some cultures around the world have some kind of specific massage to rebalance and restore the new mother as part of postpartum care. As discussed during pregnancy, the whole body undergoes remarkable transformations, such as the womb increasing to the size of a watermelon, the pelvis tilting forward, the spine curvature increasing, the muscles and ligaments around the belly stretching and growing. The organs get squashed when the body reverses after the baby is born. Unfortunately, in the West, there seems to be no process in place to ensure that all the bones, joints, soft tissues and organs go back in place, back into their optimal position following the birth of a baby. The closing the bones and rebozo rocking ceremony can really help with healing by helping to return the mother to her centre. On a physical level, the gentle rocking and wrapping helps healing by providing movement to the joints, muscles, tissues and fluids. On an emotional level, it provides much needed space to simply rest and be held, as well as for emotions to be honoured, witnessed and released. On an energetic and spiritual level, it can provide closure, a space to bring things to a close and move on. Another wonderful therapy which I offer, either as part of the above or as a standalone therapy, is the emotion code. Our wombs hold historically and collectively remembered trauma, due to the fact that each of us sits in our mother's physical womb for 9 months, during which time we are receiving and imprinting the energy of her womb trauma, and in turn the trauma of her mother and grandmother. For centuries, this female energy has been pushed aside, and as a result, all that she brings to humanity is receded from societies, resulting in an imbalanced patriarchy and the epidemic of toxic masculinity. But now is the time of the Divine Mother and the time of the sacred female energy that brings love, strength, intuition, tenderness, harmony and cooperation. So, as we start to conclude today's episode, I'd just like to finish with a really wonderful womb meditation, so that you can start the process of healing on your own. So this is a meditation that can be used daily or as often as you feel is necessary. So just make sure you're not going to be disturbed. Sit or lay comfortably. Begin with deep, slowing breathing. After a few breaths, once you feel relaxed, put your hands on your womb. And as you breathe consciously, think of your womb like a cup that is literally filling with your breath. Your breath is a liquid light as your womb receives this. It fills up and becomes luminous. You can let this liquid light overflow from the cup and fill your entire pelvic area with light. This should make you feel very grounded, very peaceful. Once you begin to connect with your womb in this way, you can start to expand the light of your luminous womb out all the way through you. The light that fills the womb and expands out is very warm, rich and dense. It feels very close to your physical energy. See this light filling your whole energy field. When your womb light fills out into your energy field, it's like there's no room for anything else except your sacred energy. You are literally filling your space with your own sacred energy, saying, I am. Practicing this womb connection through your breath will also make you feel naturally grounded. If you are anxious or prone to overthinking, becoming womb-centered helps you become calmer and literally brings you to earth. Your thoughts slow down and you relax into your body. The womb connects you to the parasympathetic nervous system so that you begin to enter into a space of physical relaxation, which is restorative and nourishing for you. As you physically relax and ground, you let go of all the anxiety that comes from overthinking and dealing with things from your mind. You start to discover a place of simplicity and intuition deep within your body. You start to release stored trauma. So once you've sat with this space, maybe you want to put some music on, maybe you just want to sit with this. I suggest that maybe you look at journaling about your experiences, or take a restorative healing bath, prepare a lukewarm bath, adding fresh flowers, a few drops of essential oils or rose, lavender, or your favourite scents, and either add a cup of Epsom salts or sea salts. Just soak and relax and visualise yourself in your favourite place in nature, feeling a sense of joy and contentment. Take care of your emotions and your womb, because womb awakening is a choice to call forth your feminine self and feminine soul out of slumber. As women continue to reclaim and heal their wombs, there will be a major shift that will impact the world over as the female feminine power continues to emerge and bring balance both personally and globally. So thank you so very much for joining me today. I really hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. In the next podcast, I'm going to be talking about the 13th womb rite of the monarchy. Some people call it the 10th womb rite. So the 13th womb rite of the monarchy is a rite that is bestowed on us from other women who have received the rite. And it's all around releasing trauma and reminding our womb space of what it's for. So if that's something you'd like to receive on the next podcast, then don't forget to like, subscribe and follow, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.